And a new number one arises to take the throne in the Abraham Suns after they bust through the facade of perfection surrounding the reach-arounds to hand them their first L since the 2019 championship game. Kyler Murray is unfucking believable and impresses more and more each week, and Deontay Johnson had himself a day as well. Their leapfrog over both the reach-arounds and thick is due to the fact that they beat both of them, plain and simple. They may just be the best team in this league, as they always seem to get it done in the big games. Next up, they'll face off against the Breeze and continue to vie for that coveted number one playoff seed. A rare off week results in late round reach-around falling to our penultimate power ranking, despite still having the number one record in the league and remaining number one in points scored. But the Abraham Suns discovered the chink in their armor, and their status is now downgraded from fantasy gods to fantasy demigods. Their usual MVP, Devontae Adams, halved his point totals from the previous 2 weeks against... Wait, this can't be right. The Jaguars? Yep. The Jaguars kept him in relative check, and with a young Drew Lock unable to lock up even 7 points while leading the squad, you knew it was going to be a bad day. But they'll have a chance to bounce back against the warring Wookers next week and try to retain that number one seed. Elastigirl Thick falls to number 3 despite the win, only because of the rapid ascension of the Abraham Suns, since they made easy work of Elite Skeet in a 30-plus point victory to improve to 8-2. Despite getting off to a slow start, Alvin Kamara ended the day with over 30 points as per usual, and DeAndre swiftly worked his way up to a nice 23-point showing as well. Luckily, a very rare off day from Russell Wilson didn't hurt him, and they should stay near the tippy top of the rankings after they bust through the walls of the Joestown People's Temple like the Kool-Aid Man next week. At number 4 are the Gumby Nation, who avoided electrocution against the Red Lightning in our game of the week and improved to a healthy 6-4 record. DeAndre Hopkins, the man, the myth, the legend, helped lead them to the victory with some late-game heroics, and Herbert, Juju, and T. Higgins all did their parts as well. They gave themselves a little bit of a cushion for maintaining their wildcard position, but it ain't over yet. All they have to do is avoid a meltdown over the final leg of the season to punch their ticket in. Now they likely only need one more win to get in. At the Cinco position, we have Fixin' to be a Breeze, who handily disposed of Show Me Dem TDs, despite several key contributors being on bye in Week 10, including Julio, Zeke, and Gurley. But Nyheim Hines picked up the slack with a 26-point performance, and Tom Brady would not be made fun of for long with a big bounce-back game against the Panthers. Right now, they're barely out of the playoffs as they share a 5-5 record with Red Lightning, who beat them earlier in the season, but they'll get a chance for redemption in 2 weeks as they can even the series in a rematch and force a points-scored tiebreaker to take effect, wherein they currently have the edge. However, there are 3 games left and not 1, and unfortunately the next tilt on their playoffs journey is against none other than the chosen ones, Abraham Suns. They'll have to give it their all if they want to make their first ever playoff appearance, as they've never had more wins in their 5-year tenure in the league than they have at this point right now. Up 1 spot to number 6 are the Fatgrass Fatties, who earned their first weekly high score of the season, albeit the lowest weekly high score thus far, which is in accordance with the idiosyncratic nature of their underwhelming success in the 2020 campaign. But an Andrew Jackson is an Andrew Jackson, and a 7-3 record is nothing to sneeze at. Aaron Rodgers continues to be a huge value add after they traded for him about a month ago. Josh Jacobs returned to stardom, and Antonio Gibson served admirably in the number 2 running back role. They've won 4 out of their last 5 and are a near shoo-in for the playoffs at this point if they can only manage to claim their freebie game next week against Elite Skeet. If they fuck this up though, who knows what the consequences may be, because their final 2 games are against number 2 and number 3 in the rankings. At number 7 are Team Wooker, who dropped the ball in their fight against the Fatties, as they didn't have their usual cuckoo bananas output from Dalvin Cook or DK Metcalf this week. Big Ben got big points, but it didn't pay dividends as they fall to a 4-6 record, and now will probably need to win out to have a shot at making it to the big show. If you still believe in the Wooker, now would be the time to place your bets, because the odds against them making it have never been juicier, since 2 out of their last 3 opponents are 8-2 or better. Their backs are against the wall now, which, in most species of Wooker, are when they are at their most dangerous. In the number 8 slot is Red Lightning, whose 2-game win streak was brought to an abrupt end as they couldn't eke out enough points to make it past the Gummy Nation in Week 10. Mahomes' bye week was ill-timed as Jared Goff was relatively unimpressive against the Hawks, and Melvin Gordon III only earned 1 point more than the Roman numeral following his name. All is certainly not lost, though, and they still have a very promising chance of making their way into the playoffs, since their final 3 contests are against challengers with a combined 10-20 record, beginning with the lackluster Hambones in Week 11. In at 9 are Show Me Dem TDs, whose potential Cinderella story has reached an early conclusion after they are blown away by the breeze in Week 10. Michael Thomas is back, but not really, if you know what I mean, and Aaron Jones has been pretty average for several weeks now. Add a pedestrian performance from Deshaun Watson on top of that, and you have all the ingredients for a shitty season. They're eliminated from playoff contention, but at least they have an opportunity to play spoiler for Gumby Nation and Red Lightning over this next month. At the decade mark, we have the Joestown Kool-Aid Sippers, who suffer their most embarrassing defeat yet this week as they fall by double digits to the Hamel Hambones, and this in a season chock full of humiliating losses. Their 4-game losing streak extends to 5 games, as Jamichael was not too hasty in earning them points. Will Fuller V only got VI.III points, and Salvin Ahmed from the Dolphins was not able to salvage a mediocre performance from the rest of his teammates. And with these galaxy brain puns out of the way, I shall now move on onto our next joke team. At the 11th spot, we have the Hamel fucking Hambones, who rise up from the bottom of the barrel for the first time in 69 years to excitedly pass on the torch for the objectively worst team in the league, thanks to Joshua Allen, Wayne Gallman, and Chase Claypool, who is chasing points down left and right this weekend. They doubled their season win total this week, and now have a nice, delicious win sandwich with 8 meaty losses sandwiched in between 2 thin slices of win bread in weeks 1 and 10. They now eagerly anticipate throwing their hat into the ring of the toilet bowl in week 14 so that they can get that first draft spot selection to ensure, counterintuitively, that they don't have to draft in the top 3 again. This makes almost no sense, but I'm not getting paid for this, so you must take what you get from my nonsensical diatribes. And our new worst team honor falls to the Elite Skeet, who are now 1-9 after falling to Elastigirl Thick, and unfortunately have nothing to play for anymore, even as a spoiler, as they are playing against 3 teams they can't really spoil much for. They may be able to derail the Fatties a bit, but that's unlikely and would also not necessarily be a nail in their coffin. The Skeets decided to leave their bye-week defense in the lineup to help with their Tank for Toilet Bowl efforts, and one can only hope that they're having more success in their other fantasy leagues. Let's just call it a rebuilding year. For the Joestown Kool-Aid Sippers, Elite Skeet, Team Wooker, Red Lightning, Show Me Dem TDs, and yes, late round reach around, take out your Metro cards and get aboard the L train.
Father?
I must obey, not knowing why. I must obey.
Yes.
I love you, Isaac.
Abraham, lay not thy hand upon the land, for
That is my job.
Roethlisberger, the quarterback, was all fucking hug it, chug it, football all night.